Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a strange case of Sean here with the 11th chapter of my story, New World Order, Undertaker. A story written by me with some assistance from ChatGPT. Before we get started, I'm going to give a quick recap of the events from the Great American Bash, but please be sure to check out that video and the previous chapters as well. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate all the support. We are about to get into the aftermath of the Great American Bash, and let us revisit the happenings of the pay-per-view. Dusty Rhodes and Kane faced off in a grudge match. Though the crowd was thoroughly behind the American Dream, he came up short against the Big Red Machine. In a stacked four-way dance tornado tag match, the Outsiders faced a tremendous challenge to keep their tag team championships. The final two teams were the Outsiders and the mismatched team of Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. People didn't take the mismatched team too seriously, including Hall and Nash. But after some more miscommunication, the odds shifted. The mismatched pair persevered on, and the match came to a close with Malenko locking in a Texas Cloverleaf to submit Hall and win the titles for he and Jericho. In the main event, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship was defended in a fatal four-way where Undertaker defended against Lex Luger, Diamond Dallas Page, and Booker T. Undertaker would be able to manage through the challenges with both welcome and unwelcome interference and retained his championship. In the match, we saw the return of the exiled Macho Man Randy Savage continuing his attacks on The Undertaker. The nWo would overwhelm Savage and Luger, but they would soon receive some much-needed help from the returning Sting. The nWo were shocked as they were taken out by arguably WCW's greatest hope. And now that we are all caught up, let's get started, shall we? The post-Great American Bash episode of Nitro opens with Dusty Rhodes making his entrance to the roar of the crowd. He's battered, but has a big smile on his face. He begins. I hope you all enjoyed the bash like I did. The night didn't start the greatest, and I got the battle scars to prove it. But we dealt a hefty blow Sunday night to the nWo. The WCW did get back those tag team championships. Maybe we didn't reclaim the world championship, but we did reclaim a great weapon. A weapon who has been watching for some time. A weapon that we thought we all lost. But he's back. Please help me in welcoming back Sting. The crowd cheers, and Sting makes his entrance. The Sting keeps his same demeanor the crowd has familiarized him with. Sting enters the ring and shakes hands with Dusty. Dusty continues. Now I had heard some rumblings that I want to keep close to my chest, but now the secret is out, and nWo, your days are numbered. Then the nWo make their entrance, led by world champion Undertaker. Conspicuously absent are the Outsiders. Taker begins. So the two of you relics are coming together now by the faint hope that you can put an end to this order. That's quite funny. Dusty Rhodes, the so-called dream, clinging to old battles, old glory, reaching for something that slipped away long ago. And Sting, the man who hides in the dark, painting his face like a warrior, but inside still trembling from the scars I've inflicted. The crowd boos. Taker continues. But understand this. Alliances built on fear and resentment have a foundation destined to self-detonate. I've walked through men stronger than you. I've buried icons greater than you. And I've set fire to legacies to watch them burn to the ground. You're fighting the inevitable. Friends, comrades, partners, or whatever it is the nature of your collaboration. It does not matter. The soil is welcome to all. Sting takes the microphone from Dusty. He begins. Taker, I've heard enough of your words. This is a different crowd than where you made your name. We aren't afraid of you. You mentioned the word inevitable. Some things in life are inevitable. One of those is me being the architect of your downfall and of the nWo. I'm standing in this ring, throwing it out there. Any man who calls himself nWo, any one of your soldiers, I'll fight him. One by one, all at once, doesn't matter. But make no mistake, sooner or later, it's gonna be me and you. And when that night comes, we'll see who the soil winds up covering. Taker grows angry while the members of the nWo debate with each other about who should fight Sting. Then, Vampiro comes out with the microphone. He begins. Hey, dead man, I see your vision. I see what you want for the nWo, and I want to serve it. Please, let me break that buffoon in the ring for you. Taker looks at Paul. Taker then responds, okay, this is your chance to prove yourself to the order. But if you fail, don't count on me wasting any more time on you. The match is made official for tonight. Sting versus Vampiro. Backstage, we see Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing the new WCW Tag Team Champions, Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. Gene asks Malenko if they are surprised their partnership actually worked out well for them. Jericho interrupts and responds, come on, Mean Gene. Of course he's not surprised. Together, we're like fine wine and stale crackers. I make it classy, while Dean here makes it tolerable. Gene responds, well, Chris, I'll give you this. You do most of the talking, and Dean does most of the winning. Sounds like a fair partnership to me. Gene continues and asks what their team will be called. Jericho interrupts once again. We could be Brains and Beauty. Wait, they're both me. There's clearly no Dean in there. Oh, how about the Human Ambient Duo? Dean puts him to sleep. I wake him back up. Oh, wait, I got it, Dean. I think you'll like this one. Jericho is cut off by the Steiners, who walk up to them. Scott Steiner begins. You two are a shame to the tag team division. What's even worse is that we could have easily taken down the Outsiders at the Bash, but we weren't even considered for either title opportunity. Jericho responds, really? You think you could have? That's interesting, because from what I recall, you both couldn't get the job done now, could you? We are too busy figuring out our team name after a break from polishing these titles, but I just thought of something. You guys need a rebrand. You could be the Human Dumbbells. You know, heavy, loud, and not too much upstairs. Rick goes to attack, but Scott holds him back. Scott responds, you don't understand the world of hurt you just got yourself into. The Steiners then walk off. In the main event, we see Sting make his in-ring return on Nitro to face off with Vampiro. The bell rings and the match begins. The match starts with a tense stare down, Vampiro trying to intimidate Sting with his eerie mannerisms, but Sting remains stoic. Vampiro opens with wild strikes and kicks, showcasing his unorthodox offense, briefly staggering Sting. Sting absorbs the punishment, but fires back with stiff punches and levels Vampiro with a clothesline. Vampiro surprises Sting with a spinning heel kick and a top rope attack for a near fall, showing resilience and flash. Vampiro focuses his attacks on Sting's arm. He deals considerable damage to the arm in hopes to make it difficult to maintain the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting counters a suplex attempt, delivering a running Stinger splash into the corner, igniting the crowd. Sting goes for a pin, but Vampiro kicks out at 2. Sting brings Vampiro to a corner and attempts to hit him with 10 punches. Vampiro thinks quickly and hits a lung blower and goes for a desperate pin. Sting kicks out at 2. Vampiro argues with the referee. Vampiro returns his attention to Sting and he swings wildly, but gets caught. Sting plants him with a Scorpion Death Drop. Sting covers for the clean 1, 2, 3 pinfall. Sting rises calmly and the referee holds up his arm in victory. Sting then points the bat toward the camera, but winces in pain. He exits the ring. Vampiro makes his way up to the entrance ramp. He then turns around to yell at the crowd. The crowd begins to get excited about something. Vampiro turns around and gets hit with a diamond cutter from Diamond Dallas Page. DDP poses on the entrance ramp to the crowd to end Nitro. An episode of Thunder opens up with the return of the Macho Man Randy Savage, who has ditched the colors of the nWo and has returned to his fan favorite form. He begins. The Macho Man is back on Thunder. Yeah! He is also back fighting for himself and readying himself to be ferocious force in taking down the nWo. The morale of the locker room has skyrocketed, especially with the return of Sting. But unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight because he ain't medically cleared. But that don't mean I'm not ready to run the madness on the nWo. Oh no. In fact, I'm looking at any 3 jabronis from your little group, any 3 men, and I'll team up with the strongest warriors I can find to show the world what real madness looks like. Oh yeah! The crowd cheers. Backstage, we see Vampiro talking with Paul. Vampiro begins. Look, I know Monday didn't go the way I had hoped, but I injured the guy. That's gotta show something. Paul responds. But you represented the nWo and lost. That means the nWo lost. Do you actually think Taker approves of that? Vampiro pauses. He then continues. Look, save your guys. Let me fill in one of the spots in Macho's challenge. The outsiders aren't here. No one has even heard from them. Come on now. Paul interrupts. It is none of your business, but Scott and Kevin are just fine. It's done, Vamp. My hands are tied. I'm unsure if there's anything you can do to impress him. Paul walks off. Vampiro stares at Paul walking off and throws his hands up in frustration. In another backstage promo, we see Lex Luger talking with Randy Savage. DDP walks up to them and speaks. Yo, if it's cool with you both, and you haven't found a guy yet, I'd like to join you in fighting the nWo tonight. Luger responds. You know, I see real promise in you. We've had our differences, but I still think you'd be a good ally in this fight. Savage responds. Yeah, I think you can be a real game changer in this battle. You're in. It is main event time with a 6-man tag team match planned. First out are the nWo, represented by Curt Hennig, Stevie Ray, and WCW United States Champion Kane. They await their WCW challengers. Savage and Luger make their entrances. The music of DDP plays, but he doesn't come out. The referee makes the decision to turn the match into a 3 vs 2 handicap match after DDP fails to show up. The bell rings and the match begins. The match starts with Savage and Hennig in the ring. Savage uses speed and technical skills to counter Hennig's power, while Kane and Ray wait on the apron. Savage and Luger make frequent tags to keep the momentum on their side. Hennig tags in Kane. Kane then dominates with power moves, tossing Luger around. Stevie Ray tags himself in. He hits occasional strikes, but Savage is able to turn the tide in his favor. Hennig tags himself back in, while Savage tags in Luger. They battle some more, but Luger gains the advantage over Hennig. Hennig crawls to the regroup in his corner, but Kane tags himself in. Kane then lands a big chokeslam on Luger. He goes for a pin, but Savage breaks the pin at 2. Ray charges Savage, but he pulls down the ropes and he falls out. Savage dives off the apron onto Ray. Kane gets Luger into position for a powerbomb when Hennig tags himself back in. Kane drops Luger and stares at Hennig. Kane then exits the ring. Paul whispers in Kane's ear. Kane then walks back up the ring while Paul remains ringside. Hennig is confused and doesn't see Luger tag in Savage. Savage ducks a punch from Hennig and hits him with a neckbreaker. Savage climbs the top rope and delivers his signature flying elbow drop to Hennig for the pin. Savage and Luger celebrate in the ring while Ray and Hennig recover and walk to the back. The commentators are then informed of a commotion happening backstage. We then get cameras and we see Vampiro and DDP battling each other. Vampiro mocks Page, but then Page is able to hold his ground and begins to get on the offensive. DDP throws Vampiro into a railing at a high part of the backstage area. The railing breaks. DDP then starts striking him, and he goes for a diamond cutter, but Vampiro is able to counter, sending Page flying. Vampiro smiles at his handiwork. Meanwhile, we hear the director call for the camera to be cut. The power struggle between WCW and the nWo continues to rage on, each with their share of victories and setbacks. How serious is Sting's injury? Why did Paul send Kane away from his match? Is DDP okay? Maybe we'll get those answers in the next chapter. Thanks for watching. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.